Everyone, welcome everyone. Welcome today to today's there's too many todays here, but today's Level Up together. And let me share my screen here. So today is March 17th, and today is again we're gonna continue with the healing attitudes, and it's been wonderful to go through each of them and a lot of good stuff that we've been talking about. So let's continue with that. And before that, there's just a little disclaimer that this meeting is being recorded. And by being here, you're giving me the permission to record you. And these recordings will be shared on the Utaptics Facebook groups via YouTube. I'm a level 4 practitioner. I'm here as your host because everyone's insights and examples and perspectives and experiences are, help each other with our own life experiences and all the good stuff that we share and create and share with each other. I don't know. I'm stumbling here today, so let's get started. I'll stop the share. And today we are on the Healing Attitudes Level 1, page 131, around there for me. And it's number 34 that we start with. We talked until number 33 last time. So whoever would like to read can raise your hand. Number 34. Hey, Mary. Hey, Kathy, Lisa, Torian, Susan, Sherry, and welcome everyone. And Tom. All right. Who would like to read number 34?
Well, I will.
Go for it, Sherry. Thank you.
Is
Are you
I
saying page 34?
131 for me.
Okay.
130.
Thank you.
130. Okay. Healing Attitudes, number 34, page
Okay.
130, 131, 130, somewhere.
So pretending they don't exist, pushing them away, or ignoring negative emotions only supports their power to control your life. Amen.
Amen. Yes. Anything else you would like to share about it, Sherry?
Just it's really a really good reminder. It comes so natural to ignore negative feelings. I mean, I've done it my whole life and changing that and thinking, oh yeah, I should be tapping right now. This is pretty negative. And I'm not, some days I tap more than others, but if you're not tapping, you're probably experiencing some negative emotions and going to pay for it later. Because
Yeah,
they smack you in the face all day long, don't they?
I do. Anyone else would like to share anything? Hey,
Uh,
Mary.
before, before tapping, my negative emotions were totally running my life,
Mhm.
and they were always leading me down a worse rabbit hole. Like I would get upset about a situation, instead of tapping on it, I would, try to manage it or control it in some manner, something that was uncontrollable, and always look for the worst and the next shoe to drop. But you know, tapping is such a much better way to live. It totally takes that emotion and puts it in right standing. It understands it, it accepts it, it forgives it, and moves on. It's good.
Definitely. Thank you. Kathy, did you want to share anything?
Yeah, I just, I couldn't work enough. I couldn't go fast enough to keep ahead of all that negative stuff. And so I had a huge push in my life to get as much stuff as I could get done in a shorter period because that way I didn't have to look at that. I didn't have to, it wasn't even about I didn't want to look at it. I just knew I needed to keep going. And because when I stopped, I started feeling bad. So if I can stop now and tap, I get to feel good. It's not about running anymore. It's about, you know what I mean? I don't have to keep running to try to do this, to try to think I'm going to be better if I do this or to think, no, you have to stop and tap and then be able to move on. And what a nicer way to live.
Mhm. I can totally relate with that, Kathy. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Yes. Anyone else would like to share? I feel like also like when that justification comes up to keep that bad emotion because we can justify it. We're not just neglecting it, but we are justifying it, and that's a really good reason to keep it. And that just really runs
Right.
our life. Certainly. Yeah, that's a big one for me. Certainly. So it's like, okay, I'm justifying it. So then there's always, as I find out later that, as I work through it, I start writing down whatever is coming up inside. I feel like there's always a wrong perception about what I'm holding on to. And then I can clear it up, then I can tap through it. Definitely. But running through it or justifying it is always like I'm in a loop. Yeah. Anyone else? So you can read the next one if who would like to read it? Number 35.
Hmm.
I
Hey,
will.
Susan. Yeah, go
35.
for it, Susan. Yes.
Person and the behavior are different. We are more than our actions. So what this is saying is that we're not our behavior. We're separate from our behavior. And that's a great distinction to make. We're human
Mhm.
beings, not human doings.
So true. Yeah, definitely. Anyone else? Gary.
Well, when you look at this in terms of another person around you, it's really hard to separate this person and their behavior and see them as different because all you see in this other person many times is this obnoxious behavior. And it's really hard to think, oh, that's not who they really are. That's all I see. That's all I'm dealing with. And so, it helps to stop and think that. I'm not quite sure. Anybody have any ideas on how you handle that?
Yeah, I know. Also, yeah, I also like the behavior they are exhibiting or the actions they're taking. It could just be the learned behaviors that they just
Yeah,
learned from somebody else, right?
I'm sure it is.
And yeah. And so what is the person actually, like who the person is? If the person is not their behavior,
Yeah, right. Who are they?
who are they, right? Maybe they're, I don't know, like just maybe seeing everyone, like if they're born as this perfect being, coming from a higher place, and then they just learn all these behaviors and these, I don't know, it's just these mindsets or ways they think, their perceptions, but maybe they're not that. Those are just learned things. And as we are working on ourselves, we are clearing that up. We are not the same behavior anymore either.
Right.
Yeah. So anyone else would like to share? Hey, Sherry. Welcome. We are on page 130 on healing attitudes, number 35.
So,
Hmm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ken, were you saying something?
Just mumbling to myself. I forgot the mic was on.
So
All right.
nobody
That's
else
okay.
has a problem with separating the person?
Just the next one. All behaviors are modified, are motivated. All behaviors are motivated by a positive, adaptive intention. So that answers 35 in a way,
Hmm. Yes, that makes sense.
and
Thank
gives
you.
you some insight into narcissists.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Right.
where you really have to stay in the upper level and go, oh, it's just that. Yeah, it's them doing that. They can't help it, the poor things. And walk away.
Definitely. Sherry, you were saying something?
Well,
No, I was just thinking, bless your heart. Sorry. Being Texan. Goodbye. I'm going to be quiet.
no, I guess I was
Alicia?
wondering, doesn't anybody else have trouble separating a person from their behavior? Or do you have any keys to successfully doing that?
I guess maybe always keeping that in mind, right? That they're not their behavior. It's just a self-adaptive, positive intention.
Yeah.
I always think of people as little children. So it doesn't matter what your age. When I see them, I go, "Oh, you are 7," or and just try to feel it that way rather than looking at their behavior because we're all kind of ugly sometimes. So I just pretend like they're just a little child and I just love them, sort of. No, I do.
It act, excuse me, that actually works. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. At one particular, I walked downstairs to the office and this one volatile salesperson started screaming at me, right? Me, the owner, screaming at me, smashing things around and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, he's 3 years old. He's really just 3 years old. So, okay, just don't react, just listen to him. And he stormed out and slammed the door. And I turned around to everybody and said, there's an example of a 3-year-old. Don't be like that.
That's a very good strategy. Thank you, Sherry and Ken. Certainly.
Well, what I
Yeah.
think, what I got out of that is, motivated by a positive intention, we're either running towards pleasure or away from pain, right? So that's pretty much all of our intentions all the time is human beings, right? So, when we think of it that way, then it's easier to accept other people's behavior, I think, because we're the same when it all boils down to it.
Yeah. This is very deep, certainly, definitely. Hey, Susan.
Yes, and accepting is not the same as condoning. Getting back to accepting, behavior and not being attached to the person's behavior, not taking it personally. It's about them when you look at it as a positive intent from their behavior. It is a behavior. It's not them. It's personally. It's not the person that's, we're all acting out of our coping mechanisms. So taking it personally makes it hard to separate the person from the behavior. If we take it personally, if someone says you're stealing my money and you're not, that's their problem. So if we take it personally, then it's like, oh, why do you think that of me? I'm so sorry. I didn't take your money. But then we get caught up in feeling bad rather than saying they've got something going on in their head and I'm not going in there. That's not me. That's your stuff. I hope that makes sense. That
Yeah,
was a lot.
it does. No, it does. So what I got from it is like, it's not them, but it's about them. But if I make it about me, then it's about me. So I have to do something I tap on that. But it's not them. It's about them. And it's not about me. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that's good.
It does. So you don't have to accept the behavior if it's really unacceptable behavior, but you can still accept the person and separate the person from the behavior. I guess that's what I'm hearing. Is that what yeah. So just to concentrate on that, because I think when I just looked at that, I thought, oh, great. Well, I can't help it. You got to put up with all this crap, but that's not, yeah, it's more clear now. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Sasha.
Hi. Um, this just kind of reminds me a little bit of a book that I read by a guy named Gadamer, George Hans Gadamer. And he goes about describing how human beings act or get to the way that they are, right? Which is a series of society influencing a lot of the things that they do, their environment influencing a lot of things that they do, and them just playing those ideas over and over again to kind of express. And, with their expression, it's kind of like a culmination of everything that they know at that particular point in time. But basically, the idea is that you're basically made up of your environment, right? And so you're doing the best that you can based on your environment. So when you're talking about seeing somebody and they're doing something, a lot of that is just an expression of where they came from, not necessarily who they are or who they're going to be. It's basically just what they know at that particular point in time. So I don't know if that kind of helps with the question.
I had a prime example of that in a way. The same individual that I mentioned before, I asked the question, what does his father do? You know, and now this is funny, in a twisted way, it's funny. Because this was an individual who you would go into anything beautiful and would look for and find the broken thing or the thing that was bad. Like you go in a beautiful restaurant, the only thing, it's a gorgeous place, you see like the very top window is cracked a little, right? So curious me, I find out that his father is a biochemist or something, but his job for years and years was to look through a microscope at tiny, tiny cells and find the bad one. Now, you put that and move it over to him. And I thought, well, he didn't have a chance, did he? He became his daddy, only on a global scale. So it gives you more insight. So you can't really be mad at that. You just have to like go, oh, that's a shame. And and kind of move on.
Exactly.
When I heard that, I went, oh, no wonder he finds fault in everything and won't see the big picture, only the little tiny part bad.
And perhaps dad saw that in everything, not just what he saw under microscope. And then
Maybe that's why he got the job. The perfect match,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Just an example.
That's a very interesting example, Cam. Thank you.
Yeah, I did find that out as to what spurred all this angst. Went, okay.
Definitely. Thank you.
Sure.
Anyone else like to share anything on that? All right. So who would like to read it?
I want to say,
Yeah, please, Kathy.
only one thing I want to say is there's the people that are out there, that are doing the behaviors and stuff, and we're noticing it, and we're able to because of the training that we've had. It's like Sherry was saying, bless your heart. It is. It's like I feel for those people now because it's like they're just running their patterns. They're just doing what they were taught. They're just doing that, and if we can talk with them or if they're open to anything, because we don't have to do that because we've learned we don't have to do that anymore. You know what I mean? We don't have to do that. And if we're going to be mad, boy, you better be owning it and saying, I'm mad and I'm owning it. I'm doing this for a while. You know what I mean? Not the back and forth of it's not my behavior, but you get to choose. That's what I'm saying. We get to choose today. Which way are we going to go? And so when I see people like that, I'm really sad for them. And I just say, like I said, bless their heart or bless them, Lord, because they don't even know they're spinning. And I know that because I used to spin a lot.
True. Yes. Thank you. Definitely. It's so true. Yeah. And that's what the next one says as well. Who would like to read the number 37? I think. Is that right? We are on 37.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy.
There are no broken people. Everyone is perfectly producing results based on the references held in their subconscious, unconscious mind limbic system. And for how many years, I don't know about anybody else because I can only speak for myself, that I feel like I was always broken. I didn't do it right. I didn't do it good enough. It wasn't enough. And so I have spun my wheels for years trying to be this in my mind, what good looks like. What is that? What does enough look like? And through this work, we're able to know that we're enough just like we are. You know what I mean? Even like Nicola says sometimes, even the warts, even the big old warts that are hanging off my face or whatever, we are good enough. But it takes going through a lot of stuff to get there. And I'm so grateful we have Faster EFT and this group to come and I don't know, you guys, it's just about feeling whole. When we leave this group or these trainings, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure about you, that you feel uplifted. You feel you stand straighter. You feel like you've got that smile on your face just a little bit more than you had before.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I just want to be happy. So that's what I'm working on. That's it.
Molly, thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share on that?
Well, yeah, I thought along those lines, it's so true that if we don't keep connected with this group and with everything we've learned, we'll slide right back to our old behavior before we realize it. So it's very important to do something every day, whether it's work on your own memory or get into a group like this or just keep moving forward, but because it would be easy without doing my new things to fall into my old things.
Because we did it for so much longer.
Yes, this is pretty new, even though it's been 4 or 5 years. That's new compared to my age.
It's easy to slip back, and yeah, I definitely find it helpful to like just be in the group and talk about it and just let it percolate deeper in the subconscious, because also we are the product of our environment, as Ken was saying, correct? If, as Robert says, 99.9% of people are living in the lower model of the world, not taking the responsibility, it's easy to slip back in, because yeah, so it's like really good to just keep working on ourselves, keep talking. And as we do that, we can help other people, pull them out, uplift them out of the, certainly. And, there are no broken people. It's not like they're broken. We're all just a product of our environment and what we learned. Yeah. Hey, Susan.
Yeah, I would say, we're not broken. We're just reverting back to training, what we were trained to do. And even with all this work, when we're triggered on something that we haven't thoroughly retrained and healed, then we're going to go back, revert to training. So it's a process. We're just further along as we apply this.
Oh, definitely that training. So we have to like keep continuing, keep retraining ourselves. If like even just doing affirmations every day or whatever. So it keeps our mind in a focused place where we want to go. Yeah. Mary, did you raise your hand?
Yes, I did. I think it was really important that he put 37 in there because it was just crammed down my throat for years and years that I was broken, by my religion, by my family, by media, and even by health professionals. And it's that I still feel a little bit of echoes from that, but that was like such a big hurdle to get over. And so I'm grateful he put that in there.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? If not, we can read the number 38. Who would like to read? Raise your hand. Kathy, do you want to read number 38?
I sighed because I was just like, when I read it, the nice thing about the past is it's over. I mean, that's why I was just sighing. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's over. And all you
Yep.
have is right now. So, for me, my mind sometimes wants to keep me stuck in the same. That's what our subconscious is supposed to do. It's supposed to keep us safe and the same. But I don't want to be there anymore. I don't want to be the same. And so the thing is like, say if I have upset or something, I'm like, you know what? So what are you going to do? And you guys, there's sometimes I say, I'm going to just sit here and cry, because this is what I want to do. I'm staying in it. But for me now, I have to own it. Which way are you going to go? Are you staying in it? Yep, I'm staying in it. Or are you going to get out of it and start tapping? But like I said, the choices, we have options today, because before I had the option of being busy, and that would always come back up to me because you don't get over it. Now I have an option and if I own it and say, I want to stay in this mess for a while, then I get to wallow in it for a while. And that's what I'm choosing to do. And then until I can't take it anymore. And then I go, I got to get out of this. And then, start tapping. And I'm just grateful that we have choices
Yes,
today.
we have choices. And, a big thing is, there's one or more like two things that are, certain in life is death and taxes, if you want to consider that. But, that's the only thing that's certain. But life, being alive, means change, means getting out of that, means letting it go. Because if you're not letting it go, we want to keep it, this is what life is. I want to hold on to it. This bad thing happened. Then we're not living. We're dying, I guess, if you want to say that. So, life is just letting it go, moving on, changing, growing. Um, and yeah. And this, but if we want to keep that past alive, then we're living in the past. We're not living, that's not living, basically. Living in the past, but not in the now, which now is like, and there's no certainty about future or life. Life is about change, uncertainty, and just, we embrace it as it comes and we live through it. And, if it doesn't sit well, we tap through it, whatever. But if you hold on to that past and we want to wallow in it, then we are not really living. So it's time to just move through it and change it. Hey, Sherry, did you raise your hand, Sherry Neal? Oh, sorry. Anyone else would like to share anything?
Yeah.
Hey, Sherry.
Yeah, this is just such a breath of fresh air that I had, and like Kathy was saying, that I have the choice to live in the now. When I first came in here, I thought I really dug in my heels about you can't change a memory, you can't change what really happened. And I heard Robert say over and again, no, but you can change what you're using on you. I couldn't absorb that for a long time. I was so fixated on it happened. And you can't change memories. You can't change what happened. So obviously I was living in the past and letting that part of my subconscious rule my life in a really horrible past with a lot of very negative, like everybody, experiences. And just dwelling in the fact that is just over. I get to live in now, a brand new now, and I get to create my now, and I can choose how I want to think, and I can change so much. I mean, this is like there has to be even a better expression than breath of fresh air. I mean, it's just so wonderful. No.
Yes, thank you. Definitely. Anyone else like to share on that? Now we can read number 39. Who would like to read? Hey, Sherry.
Okay. There are triggers that stir up the past memories and feelings and bring them to the present moment. Did we just read that? No, was it? Okay. Scusa. Perdonami. Okay, there are triggers that stir up the past memories and feelings and bring them to the present moment. You can change their impact now with the right skills. And that's a hallelujah, because, a lot of memories have been triggered, I guess, through sessions, through level 1 when we were all together in person. And it's like, oh my gosh, I did not know that was there. But it's so exciting to know that you can just change it right now. And you don't have to live in the past or sit in your poo-poo. That was so lovely. And because now we know how to do it. So that is a hallelujah for all of us. I'm done. Okay.
Thank you. Yes. And I just, yeah, if they get triggered and they come to the present moment, so it's like a gift, like, okay, I have an opportunity now. So it's like, oh yeah, all right, it's here. I can change it now. Yeah, definitely. Anyone else? Lisa?
Hey, um, today I'm really grateful for the triggers because it reveals things that are not touched yet or that I was not able to resolve yet. And so I operated a lot from point 34, pretending that nothing would exist and pushing things away. And I realized that my emotions won't kill me. So, when I struggle to confront with my triggers or the emotional stuff that is behind the triggers, I just say to myself that my emotions won't kill me. It's safe to feel them, no matter how bad and ugly they feel. That was a great relief for me. And so actually, I'm grateful to have the triggers nowadays because I know that I can handle them somehow.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. Yes, definitely. Anyone else would like to share anything on that?
I would. Now, are we talking about like ab reactions or like I remember when I first started tapping, I would get so emotional, like, the practitioner would said, put it over here. And I my body was so used to having it. It was hard to put it over there for a long time. And I don't know if it's anyone else's experience, but it seems like the more you tap, um, it's either easier to have the emotions there, therefore it's more comfortable, or they're just not as strong anymore. So I was wondering what other people thought or their experience with emotions while being triggered.
Yeah, so like just putting them up there. Yeah, Susan, would you like to share anything on that?
Yeah, so when we're not used to dealing with our emotions, even the most trivial thing can feel really big and scary. But as we learn, oh, I know how to deal with this, it's still that emotion, but you're going into it with a knowledge and a skill set saying, I know what to do with this now. I can work my way through it and get to the other side. Where before, it's like, I don't know what to do and I'm just stuck in it and spinning. So there's a way out now.
Does that answer your question, Mary? Yeah. And also, I like what Lisa said, emotions won't kill me. I think it's just the more we do it, the more we become, you know, we kind of like, okay, we are embracing all of our parts. All right, there's a part in me that's hurt. I can just, like we are not our parts, but we have the different parts. So this part that was hurting, it's just a part of us. We're just putting it up here. Like, okay, I'm gonna work on you. I'm gonna heal you. So it's like separating us. Just like there was that point number 36. We are not our 36, no, 35. We are not our behavior. It's just a part of us that learned a way, right? So it's like embracing all of our parts, okay, embracing our emotions that, okay, they're hurting and it's okay. I can handle it. It's not gonna kill me. I can go back and heal that part of me. Yeah. Hey, Sherry.
I was just thinking here, I think it's important to look at our successes. I had an incident over the weekend and with my brother, and I had to call him back and blah 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 blah. And details aren't important, so I tapped and told him what I had to tell him, and it just turned out so beautifully. It occurred to me that trigger I felt from the original phone call would have turned me into an absolute tailspin. And that's how I used to handle my triggers. So it was really, I tapped, I handled it, it turned out beautifully. And I think it's important for me not to just run away and gloss over that, but to sit in it and think, oh, remember what you used to be like. You handled this trigger, you can handle more triggers. This is the new you now. This is how you do life. And just focus on that and what is it, wallow in your success or something like that for a little bit, so that you repeat it next time because it feels a lot better doing it this way than it did the old way. So
Yeah. Also, like, the old past was a pattern as well of how to handle the trigger. It was a pattern.
yes,
And we're just creating a newer pattern, how to handle the triggers.
and it's so true. You change their impact now with the right skills. I mean, that would have sent me off in tangents for days. And I just didn't even, maybe a minute or two, but I had the skill to handle it now. So, yeah.
Thank you. Definitely. Hey, Tammy, welcome. We are on Healing Attitudes number 40 now, unless anyone else would like to share anything on number 39. Page 130, 131.
Would you like me to read it?
Sure, please.
Awesome. You can create new good feelings right now by choosing your focus. Isn't that the truth? What we focus on. I think I heard something, it was like the way that somebody can say something, right? That the way that they can say, it can just be one word, like no. It could be like no, or it could be like no. It's like gives a total different feel. So when we change our focus, the way a word sounds, or what we're looking at, or even thinking like what good could come out of it, or what good has already come out of it, like it just completely creates good feelings.
Yes, definitely. Anyone else like to share anything on that? Any insights, examples?
I think like for me, it's figuring that out and then holding myself accountable. So it's like when I start to I don't know, think about a lot of negative things. And for me, I feel like I'm attached to anger. Like it's such a constant thing in my past that I catch myself and I'm like, am I trying to make myself angry? Like why do I want to be angry? Like what why? And so it's really that, just holding myself accountable, knowing that, and then just switching my focus.
Definitely. Hey, Mary.
A long time ago, I went through DBT. It's some kind of like CBT sort of a thing. And one thing they told me to do out of all the things, I mean, I went for weeks, but the one thing that made a big impact was they said, think about your thoughts. So, if I'm having a thought, I can think about it and ask myself, is it true? Do I really have to believe what I'm thinking right now? And just getting to the awareness sometimes is a hard part for me. But if I have that little key, it helps a lot.
Like that. Think about your thoughts. Yeah, that's a good thing to keep in mind. Anyone else? Hey, Lisa.
this was kind of crucial for me when I realized when I do the process with tapping and going from the bad good collapse, that when I don't really go to that good feeling and then I really don't change the focus, I can make things even worse than before. But because this, for me, this relates to how to make a bad memory even worse. And I realized that when I do the process and I really don't focus on the good after the tapping or go to the good memory, then I go back to the bad memory and I come from a bad situation to a bad situation and then I can enhance it. And it was really like, okay, step by step and really like from one room to another room. Really, I leave the room and go to another room and really go to that other focus. And it is really fascinating how fast it can be to change the focus from something that doesn't feel nice to something that really is within seconds, like different, totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that metaphor. Just go from one room to the other room. And, sometimes we don't choose to go in there because we want to wallow in our bad stuff. But, as Sherry said, wallow in the good stuff. Go, change the room. Yeah, go to the other room. I like that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Changing focus. Choosing to change our focus.
I also think that like the brain's nature is to, what's wrong? What's wrong? What could go worse? What else can happen? And it's always like sending us in that direction of the negative experience. And until we're aware of that, like level one's where you really start getting aware of that, right? I thought I was a super positive person, but because I watched what I said as best I could, but I wasn't like managing inside here at all. And so just realizing like, oh, there I go being a natural human. And now I need to ask questions or redirect or, just refocus, just knowing that it's the common thing for your brain to find what you don't want and fixate on what's wrong, what else could go wrong. So
do that to keep ourselves safe, the apparent safety,
yes.
right? Yes, definitely. And then as Ken was giving an example earlier, focusing on under the microscope, what's bad? Find that one bad thing, And yeah, so we look for that always. If we are in this fight, flight, freeze, it's like always looking for what's wrong or focusing on the bad. So, but the intention, choosing, and then it gets better with time as the more we do it, the more we can go to a different room. Like Lisa said, choose to change the room as then we're tapping, just like really step into the other room. Yeah. All right. Number 41. Who would like to read number 41? Hey, Jerry.
Okay. Feel good for no reason. Davvero. That's the truth. You can focus on a good memory and begin to feel its impact physically. Some use the same skill by keeping in focus all their bad memories and using bad tonality in order to feel bad for no reason. Oy vey. Now is a good time to change that program and practice feeling good for no reason. And then we can all sing, I feel good. No, sorry. I just had coffee. I must stop. Okay.
Good. Thank you, Sherry. Keep bringing it on.
Oy vey! I have a Jewish little woman that's my client in New York, and she taught me to say that. She
Wow.
explained the whole meaning behind it. Cute.
Can you share the meaning, Tammy?
Well, I guess for me, I'm Norwegian, so it's kind of like saying oofda she's like, the shit's hit the fan, the crap is all over the place. That's kind of how she explained it. Is that right, Sherry?
Penso di sì. Sorry, English. I think so. I know someone on this call could probably explain it better than I. But yeah, I think it's like, well, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. It's just like, are you kidding me? Let's see. There's many expressions that we could use, but that just came out. I don't know why. I'm just really happy today. Okay.
Happy for no
With
reason.
coffee. Okay, I'm gonna quit talking now, I promise. Prometo.
I have to promise that. Ah, anyone else would like to share? Feeling happy for no reason. How do you do it? Hey,
Well,
Mary.
I know that with laughter, because I'm studying to be a laughter yoga coach, and with laughter, your body doesn't know the difference between you laughing purposefully and spontaneously. You get the same release of the dopamine, endorphins, serotonin, and something else. I can't remember. But it's true. Your brain can't tell the difference between fake laughter and real laughter. And sometimes if you can just fake it for a little while, it turns into something spontaneous. And so it's kind of fun.
No, it's okay. And then it just carries on for a long time in our day. Hey, Sherry.
Yeah, speaking of the fake laughter, it's one of our techniques. And for me, I discovered that it was great using fake laughter because it was like my subconscious would say, well, if you don't think it's that bad, I guess I'll let go of it being so bad. I mean, fake laughter works really well for me. And I had used it in a while, so I'm very grateful for that reminder. I'd kind of forgotten it.
Well, that's one of the defragging things, right? When you
Yeah.
defrag, laughter is a big one for that.
Yeah. It reminds me of the automatic zap. I mean, we all have something, and I forgot. That's that's mine. So,
Definitely. And as Tammy said, it's a great change of focus, certainly. Yeah. And sometimes, like if I'm like walking out in the forest and just some memories coming to my head, I just start fake laughing or, start talking in cartoon characters, just to change that focus and, just zap that memory and just, and then we can start feeling good for no reason. Certainly.
I think
Hey, Tammy.
it's the first understanding that we are not in the lower model thinking is when we are like, what? I can feel good even though this is going on. Like it's such a different sensation than being in that victim mindset where, this is happening to me, so I have to feel this way. Like what? I never knew I could change my feeling even. I always thought I was just like, oh, how can I feel good because this happened to me? And held on to it so long because I didn't know that I didn't have to believe it. So I think when we can actually feel good for no reason or even in a bad situation, that we're really getting the upper level, the upper model of the world in how we're going to create our own sensations based on our thoughts, our experiences, and refocusing and all the good things that we're bringing back into ourselves.
Thank you, Tammy. I think, like we kind of forget, okay, I think that remembrance of that we can choose to be in the upper model of the world is like the top thing. Because if we can choose to remember that and if we keep reminding of ourselves of that, then the change is fast and easy because we can choose to be in the upper model of the world. It's a choice. Yeah. That we don't have to be in the lower model. We don't have to be the victim. We don't have to be like, this happened to me and they did this to me. We can choose like, oh, it happened. They have their issues, and I can choose to step out of it. I don't have to hold on to it. I don't have to make it mine unless I choose to. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Feeling good for no reason. Happy memories, happy journaling. Tammy's an expert on happy journaling. Just happy journaling, it's like because we can, and I need to do that, like get back to my happy journal, just start journaling because I know when I do it, it's like I am like just happy. No matter what's going on, I can just be happy. It's just such a beautiful tool, I think. So, who would like to read number 42?
I'll read it.
Just
Taking control of your life is a skill that must be learned, just as driving a car is. They both have benefits as well as disasters without proper training. Yeah. I mean, this is like a really good thing for me because it's like sometimes am like overcritical. Sorry, there's construction if you hear it in the background.
no.
But sometimes I could be like a little bit overcritical, especially when I'm going to my past. Like, why didn't I do that? Like, why didn't I know that? But something like this, it's true. Like it's a learning process. And just like at least I crashed my car, that was like a great thing. And it's like and you learn and you get better and to recognize that there's dirt on the road and it's like you're supposed to drive slower in that particular scenario and stuff like that. And so yeah, I thought it's a great statement, I think.
Change lanes.
Yeah, well, in this the dirt part was more of a motorcycle and it was a little bit dark and it was like an alley and there was like dirt there and oop, I learned that, the bike doesn't do so well in that particular scenario. But again, you start to learn, right? And everything, even yourself, you don't I guess it's easier to be forgiving when you're like learning something that's external, but you take it as a given that you're supposed to know how to operate yourself, that you're supposed to know, yourself that well, but it's a journey to know yourself and to discover yourself, and to give yourself that grace to understand that it's not just something external, but you're discovering yourself as well.
Love that. Anyone else would like to share anything or expand on that? Hey, Sherry.
Yeah, I mean, it's just taking control of your life is a skill. I never knew that that was available to me. I mean, like all of us, we grow up as little children. We don't have any control over our life. Somebody else is always controlling. That's built into you, and especially if you have a controlling parent, you just don't even know that that option is available to you. And that's just, again, I hate to use that phrase again, but it's again a breath of fresh air to know that I can have control over my life. It's available. Are you kidding me? No, this is good news. And you can understand why, if you've never done it, it is a skill like into learning to drive a car. You didn't just get in the car with it, just start driving, especially if you had a standard shift. I mean, there's a lot of things you had to be taught. So, there are a lot of things I had to be taught about taking control of my life. I didn't have a clue how to go about doing it. It's
Yes.
nice.
Like as you said, especially if you have a controlling parent or also a parent that doesn't themselves know that they could have taken control of their life. They were completely out of control. So it's like, how do we learn, right? But now we get to learn. Definitely. Yeah. Thank you, Sherry. Anyone else? Ken?
Yeah, just a hint from another level 4, and what she does is she takes advantage of every opportunity. So, if in terms of cars too, that's what sparked the memory is stop signs and red lights. Every time she stops at a stop sign or stops at a red light, she smiles and thinks of something good.
Mm.
So that's a good habit to get into. that also reinforces the ability to instantly. I can't snap my fingers anymore like Tony Robbins. Yeah, I think I wore out my fingernails, my fingerprints. But it's a good habit to get into because like my little friend, it's a good habit to get into because it should be able to get you to create more good feelings instantly.
Love that.
Just
Thank you.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then also we can think of the stop signs and stoplights as metaphors of perhaps things in life that, uh, we come against and maybe they stop us or, bad things happen. But if we develop that habit of like thinking of something good at every stoplight and stop sign, that might translate to our life. Like something bad happens, we can go to a good place and we can think of something good and we can step out of it. Who knows? Just saying. I'm gonna try to develop that practice too, Kenneth. And thank you so much for mentioning that. I think it's a really beautiful, beautiful habit. Yes. All right. Anyone else would like to share anything on that? Taking control of your life. All right. Who would like to read the next one? Number 43. Anyone? Not, I'll read. Number 43. You can change your life by changing how you represent the past, present, and future within your mind and your body. So basically just tapping, how we choose to represent our past and the present and also the future, like designing our future. How do we represent the past or future? And we can change that, change our life. Yeah. Tammy?
I think that a lot of us, when we go back to childhood memories, we're like, my parent was terrible. They said no to this or they said no to that. But then we become a parent and it's like we have this understanding, but we haven't changed the memory from the child's perspective. So you can, by changing how you represent the past, is like if you represent it like as a child, you see that they were doing it for your benefit, not because they're mean or cold-hearted or nasty. You don't have that understanding until you become an adult. Like you're not being mean or nasty. You just have to, be like, you can't run in the street. But as a child, that memory might feel like your parents are terrible. So the way that we're representing it, how does it say that? You can change your life by changing. Yeah, by changing how you represent it. Oh, that was being cared for. Oh, that was being loved. Instead of in my young understanding mind, not knowing like how come it seemed harsh or something like that.
Thank you. Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, as we change that representation, that perception that we held of back then, we can become a better parent as well and perhaps have more understanding for our kids and do a little bit better parenting.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tammy.
Mhm.
Anyone else like to share anything on this?
Well, I kind of have an example. For the longest time, I had resentments at my mom because when I was in graduating 8th grade, I said, "Oh, Mom, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I should go to college or whatever." And she said, "Well, just find a man and that can support you and get married." So I did that, and it was really a bad idea. It didn't go well, and so I always kind of blamed her for giving me that, you know. And it wasn't until I started tapping on stuff that I realized I even had that. And so now I can take responsibility for myself. Imagine that. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Anyone else like to share anything on that? Right. Thank you all. It was a really wonderful discussion as always. And let's meet next week with number 44, and we can perhaps go on to the next page, ultimate forgiveness. So thank you everyone for being here and all your insights and examples and thoughts.
Ciao, ciao, grazie.
Have a wonderful week. Bye. Thank
Ciao.
you.